It's been said that there are 3 sides to every story. Your side, my side, and the truth. Huh? Everyone sees the world differently. I mean, just ask a group of people who have all witnessed the same event. Each person will point out different details. And without one of the witnesses telling a single lie, their accounts may even contradict each other. I bet that makes things difficult for police investigations. No doubt, but it makes things more interesting for a writer. How's that? Because it's up to you to decide who is telling your story.
I thought I was telling my story.
That's not what I meant. Editor, could you elaborate for us? There are 3 different points of view, or perspectives, from which you can tell your story, each with its own subdivisions. The first is first person.
Oh, I know this. First person is when you use I.
Yes, but there is more than one way to do this.
More than one way to use I?
Yeah. To begin with, you have the most common version, which I'll call narrative first person. This is where your character just tells the story flat out, referring to themselves as I, and only speculating on what other characters are thinking. Unless your character is telepathic, which is always fun, they cannot know what other characters are thinking or what motivates them. They can only guess based on that character's actions and words. This is what makes first person my favorite perspective. It gives you the opportunity to give your reader more context clues and keeps you from being able to spoon feed them too much. It also makes it so you only see things from one perspective, which can be good and bad. I love being able to introduce my readers to my main character by showing how they view the world. A series which takes full advantage of this are the Junie B. Jones books by Barbara Parks, which tell of the adventures of kindergarten student Junie B. from her perspective, using the vernacular common of a 5-year-old. Another advantage of first-person perspective is that your readers discover things at the same time as your characters. However, if you like the style of first-person writing but find it a bit too limiting, you can always try the split personality version.
Ooh, my favorite!
Why does this not surprise me? What we've termed split personality first-person perspective is just the first-person point of view, but switching off between first-person narrators, allowing each of them to tell part of the story. Some books switch off who tells each chapter. Some do half of the book from one point of view and half from the other. Some switch off whenever they feel like it. And some series switch off who tells each book. For example, Rapunzel's Revenge and Calamity Jack by Shannon and Dean Hale, illustrated by Nathan Hale, who is no relation to them. Thank you for that fascinating tidbit. Another way to do first person from more than one perspective is to write a book in letters, like LMNOP by Mark Dunn. This is a fun way to show how your characters interact with each other, which is different than what they are like in person, as I'm sure you've noticed from your own correspondence. This also limits the information you can give your readers to what your characters tell each other.
In an epistolary novel I'm writing, the characters are lying to each other. He is a high-up government official pretending to be a customs officer, and she is a spy pretending to be the daughter of a duke. The reader knows none of this because they're not telling it to each other.
Of course, you just spoiled it for all of us.
Oh.
No matter. It was unlikely to be published in any case.
Oh.
Do I need to gag you? I was merely stating that Guys, we're running out of time, and there's still plenty of ways to do first-person perspective, such as diary entries, like in Esme Roger Caudel's Diary of a Fairy Godmother.
My friend and I wrote a book that was 2 diaries, her characters and mine. This allowed us to tell some of the same plot points from different perspectives.
And finally, we come to my absolute favorite point of view, which I call the chatty first person. I love this one. It also happens to be one of the most difficult point of view styles to pull off. True. The chatty first-person perspective is a point of view style where the narrator talks to the audience. P.G. Wodehouse excels at this style. Many of his stories are told in the style of a bloke who's run into an old friend of his he hasn't seen in a while and decides to catch him up on the story of his life. It includes such phrases as, "I don't know if I've told you about Gussie Fink-Noddle, stop me if I have," and "I don't know if you've noticed this, but the thing I've found." Things like that. It's very much the style of how you would tell a story to a friend. So that's it for first-person perspectives, and I think we're out of time.
But what about the other point of view styles?
We'll just have to talk about second and third person next video. After we do it, we'll link to the video here. If you don't see a bubble there, it means we haven't made it yet. Or you have annotations turned off, which is a very bad habit, as sometimes I put awesome bubbles in these videos. Anyway, click it. So what are your thoughts on first person perspective? Do you enjoy using it? Do you like to read it? Why or why not? Let us know as a comment or a video response. I cannot express to you how much we love hearing from you.
Today's novel idea is to write a scene about 5 people trapped in an elevator. A little girl and her young mother, a businessman on his way to a very important meeting, a teenage boy who has decided he is going to commit suicide, and an elderly man who aches from standing. Write the scene in first person from the point of view of any one of these characters. Then, write the exact same events from the perspective of a different character. Try writing from the point of view of all 5 characters and see how the exact same events change. Thanks for watching, and happy writing. I'm calling that good.